Hey guys, welcome to General Query. This is Fonz. I go by he, him, and his.
Hey guys, and this is Zuki, and I go by she, her, and hers. Welcome to General Query. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here to podcast and talk some shit,
As per usual.
as per usual.
I'm really excited about today's episode, but
Oh
before
my
we
god,
get into the actual episode,
thrilled, thrilled.
let's
Because,
talk.
yeah, go ahead,
Go
tell him,
ahead.
tell him, tell him,
No,
tell him.
no, because your point is probably more important than the
No,
bullshit
well,
I was about to spill.
I want to tell them that for once, guys, for once, Fonz and I didn't belabor the topic to death before we actually started recording, which is so fucking on brand for both of us to do. Literally, we'll talk the topic to death and we're like, oh, we should record this. And then we'll start recording. So I'm just glad that I haven't heard any of your opinions on today's topic. I don't know what you're going to say. I have a feeling.
That's true, because we
Yep.
were about to,
That's
and
right.
then we stopped ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we opted to not do what we always do,
Right. Which is
um,
great because we're going
which
to
is
get
great.
raw content right now.
Raw, unedited, uncut, or
Un-
cut.
uncut content.
Uncut, cut. We don't discriminate here on this channel. Although, if you do, we do have an episode about that here at
No,
General
wait, did
Query.
we?
We did. We did. We had a lengthy conversation about cut and uncut meats on this podcast. For anybody that wants to
To go back a couple episodes.
go back a couple episodes, let me take a sipsy.
Yeah. So yeah, before we get into that, let's talk about some news. Did you hear about? So first of all, California fires are still going on. Sadly,
I'm so sorry. I know
support as
that.
much as you can.
Yeah, I know that. So, I mean, we're from El Paso, Texas, and we know that a lot of folks in El Paso, a lot of folks in Texas have a lot of family in California. The Texas California connection is huge. So, I know that if anything horrible is going on in California, folks in Texas, folks in El Paso feel it. And especially, and so, I have family in East Los Angeles. Everyone is fine, thankfully. But it's one of those things where we feel it. What's happening in California just feels so apocalyptic. The video, the footage of these people just losing everything and how fast it happened. It's just my heart goes out to everyone. I
Mhm.
cannot imagine that level of devastation. I really
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane, and it's still going on. So I can only imagine. Hopefully, it stops soon. But
Hopefully
unless
it
we
stops
magically
soon.
get some rain, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I did see today we're recording on the 16th of January. I have seen that the wind has abated a little bit today, which is a welcome break for all the firemen that have been out there and all other first responders. I do specifically want to call out our amazing neighbors to the north and the south, the Canadian firefighting forces and the Mexican firefighting forces that came up to LA to provide support to our first responders here in the United States. What a
Insane
beautiful
amount of
sight.
support. Yeah, insane
Insane
amount of
amount of
support.
support.
Yep.
It wasn't,
It is very nice,
yeah,
especially considering who we now will have as president-elect.
yeah,
Considering all the amount of bullshit that this person has spilled against our, neighbors both on the north and south, and how
yeah.
they, regardless of politics, came to support us.
Showed
I think
up.
that's just fucking beautiful.
It was beautiful. It
Yeah.
was beautiful. I think, it was beautiful, and it's important to call out the duality of that, I think, to remember that that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
That's what
I
a
hope
true leader does.
nothing to that extent happens to either one of them on the north or the south, but I do hope that one day the US is able to repay,
Yeah,
gratitude. So we'll see.
absolutely.
Maybe not
Absolutely.
with a catastrophe, but hopefully
Yeah,
in some other
no,
matter.
absolutely.
But on other news, ceasefire.
Ceasefire in Gaza
Yeah.
and in Israel.
So those are some good news. Finally, fucking 2025.
Yeah, and before anybody gets their panties in the twist, um, this is still the Biden administration. Let's be very
Yes. Oh
clear
my God,
about
I saw
that.
this TikTok or reel or something, and it was like Biden, giving up the news that there was ceasefire, and this reporter asked, "So who do we thank for this accomplishment? Is it Biden or Trump?" And then as Biden was leaving, he turned around and he said, "Is this a joke?"
Yeah,
And then the reporter was like, "No." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." It felt like it, then walked away.
because it is a joke. Because
Yeah.
you're a joke.
Yeah.
Because you're a
That
joke.
question was meant to be malicious, for sure.
Yeah, so you're a joke. You're
Yeah.
a joke.
Yeah. But anyway, so those are some good news. What
But
else?
that's great news.
Some sad news for me. Fashion industry. If you know of Prenza Schooler, or if you know me and know that I love Prenza Schooler, Lazaro Hernandez and Jack McAuliffe have left Prenza Schooler, which is their baby. They graduated from Parsons with Prenza Schooler. Now they're moving on, rumor has it, to Loewe. So we'll see.
We'll see.
LVMH buying all the good designers. Look at that.
Look at that. Well, best of luck.
Yeah. I wonder
Absolutely.
who they're going to put as creative director for Friends of Schooler. Because they have a very distinct look.
Look,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll see. We'll keep an eye out on that for sure.
Yeah. Any more good news?
Unfortunately, no. But
I
I
know.
think big one, TikTok ban coming up on
Yeah.
Sunday, this Sunday. Uh, yeah. Which again, for all my business nerds out there in the pod that listen, um, regardless of how you feel about China or the politics of any of this situation, anybody that listens to the pod, I think it's very clear which side of the aisle my politics lie. I'm a very proud leftist, but I'm also a finance girly. So I can honestly say that I find the TikTok ban to be a massive overreach of governmental intervention in business in the
Yeah.
market. It's inappropriate, and I find it to be in bad faith. A lot of the
100%.
argument, if you're not very familiar with why this TikTok ban is happening, I highly, highly encourage you to look at it's about a 23-minute episode on John Oliver's Last Week Tonight on YouTube. Highly recommend it. It is an unbiased, fact-based view on the TikTok ban as a whole. John Oliver, Last Week Tonight on YouTube. Go ahead and look that up on the TikTok ban if you're not really familiar on the ins and outs of it. But in a gist, a lot of it has to do with data harvesting and data selling, the selling and the harvesting of personal data by China. Now, the argument is being made by the United States that this is a danger to national security because China is harvesting and selling and collecting United States data. While that may be true, it's a bad faith argument because American companies are doing the same.
Exactly the same. Yep.
Meta, which is
Can we
Facebook.
remember how this whole thing started? Wasn't
Let's do it.
Zuckerberg
Zuckerberg. Yep,
doing TikTok?
that's right.
Like, do we agree that it's a power move? They just want to stick to being
Absolutely.
Meta and being the social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So It's a bad faith argument. It is very much a move to foster monopoly in the
Yep.
United States,
Yep.
which again is the antithesis of the free market. And so I disagree on that basis with the TikTok ban. If we're going to ban anything, we need to be honest about why we're banning it. So be aware of that if you really want to know what's going on there, or if you really want to know about anything that's going on in the world. I highly recommend John Oliver's channel. Even if you don't have HBO Max, John Oliver has been a great proponent of putting all of his episodes on YouTube so you can access them for free at anytime. So yeah, so that's a huge one. So if you're a user of TikTok, that's going on Sunday. So scroll your little heart away. Now, the only other flip side on that, guys, before we move on to the fun of this week's episode, is make sure you keep an eye out on the flip side of it, is that there are rumblings that the newest canker sore on the underside of the American ball sack, that is Elon Musk, is perhaps looking at buying TikTok. Now, while for folks that are against the TikTok ban might see this as a good thing, the problem with a billionaire buying yet another social media platform is that he can then turn yet another social media platform into yet another propaganda machine. So just keep an eye out on that, because that may not be the solution to our problem. So yes, just yes.
So today's topic, heading away from news, we're talking about weddings, especially because we're heading into wedding season, and
Wedding
that starts in March,
season.
right? It's like March
That's
through
right.
September or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like last year the peak was October for some odd reason. But yeah, wedding season is coming up. So we're talking weddings, the good, the bad, and the worst. Just kidding. Here's the thing with weddings, I've been pretty vocal on the podcast about this. Like, I love weddings for all the wrong reasons, and I don't care.
What are all the wrong reasons?
So all the visual shit, all the aesthetic shit, which is probably what all the Bridezillas care about. But for me, it's more of a like, I just want to go to weddings to one, judge,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
enjoy, but enjoy the setup, enjoy the decor, enjoy the wedding gown,
Okay. Yeah.
not necessarily enjoy the noise and the fucking kids running around. Which, once again, I know we've talked about this before, but like, if I ever get married, I'm sorry, but no kids are invited. And if they are, they better stay with the nanny in the hotel room.
Not the nanny. Uh, yeah.
But yeah, weddings and all the wrong reasons.
I mean, listen.
Okay, so you got married.
I
So
did.
we have someone who has gotten married, has experience in the topic, one that hasn't gotten married because has unrealistic expectations of the wedding.
Fair.
Right.
I have gotten married. There's
I'm not gonna lie, I do love your story and your wedding situation. I love that.
yeah.
That's very much what I would want to do, except you guys kind of like eloped a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus what I want to do is very like intimate. I don't want more than 30 people around me
Right.
because I can only handle 10 at a time. you know?
And he's not just talking about wedding guests, y'all.
Correct.
No, but yeah, no, so yeah, so I have been married. There's paperwork to prove it. I think that so we basically did elope. I think so there was no one there. There was nobody there. No family from either side, no friends from either side. We got married in Biloxi, Mississippi, of all places, and we have the Air Force to thank for that. But it was absolutely lovely. I wouldn't change anything about it. So we got married on the beach in Biloxi by some pastor, and you guys know I'm not really a religious person, but a pastor that I found online on the plane on the way over there, that I found, was willing. Yeah, and it was great because he was, listen, you know when they say the girls that know, he was a girl that knew. Because I told him, I was like, hey, this is my situation. I'm just trying to get married. And he was like, girl, I got you. Sent me a picture of this cluster of palm trees on this beach in Biloxi. And he's like, how about here? And I was like, perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's what we did. I showed up with the wedding dress that Fonz made me, by hand, might I add. Um, he designed it, and you know how in last episode I was talking shit, full of envy, at the fact that Fonz can like embroider and like do all this fancy shit, whatever. Anyways, he did that for my dress. My dress is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's very old Hollywoody. It's beautiful. And so he made me my dress. I packed it up on a Friday, flew, got married, and I was back in El Paso by Monday. It was very quick. There was no
At the time, I remember I was living in Austin, and that's actually one of the like best memories I have from Austin. It was when she told me she was getting married, and
yeah,
I was like, "I'm making your wedding gown,"
yeah.
and she was like, "The fuck you are, yeah." And I was like, "Okay, great. Measure this, and that," because we obviously Austin from El Paso, it's like a good 9 hours, so she wasn't gonna drive just to get a fitting. I wasn't going to drive because I was working full time at the time. So we made it happen. And I think even though I wasn't physically at the wedding, it was very nice to be part of the wedding in that sense. And I've
Yeah.
mentioned this before in the podcast. Pictures last a lifetime. And so even though I wasn't physically there, like I was there in spirit through my gown, and every time I walk into her house I see the picture with my wedding gown on her, and I'm like, oh, such a
And
beautiful
that's
moment.
exactly it. No, exactly. I think like that's exactly it. That the magic of my wedding is that I was absolutely covered and protected by literally my best friend, right? I was wearing the creations, and there was so much love in that moment, and it was just absolutely beautiful. There was no one there. After we got married, we went to a casino buffet, and had crab leg buffet, and that was that. And it was the best time ever. We've been married 7 years now. So I think like something worked out, I think, from that. But I think what's important, or what I think a lot of the time gets lost in weddings,
Or I think
is
what's
wedding praise.
important to you, because we'll talk
Yes,
about
yes.
weighing importance.
Weighing importance is, I think a lot of people get really, really weighed down in everything being perfect, and the fucking wedding favors and the flowers and the colors and the this and how many fucking bridesmaids are you gonna have and how many guests are you gonna have and this and that. And then by the time you show up to the wedding, you're like, oh yeah, I guess you're here too. To whoever you're marrying, which kind of defeats the purpose. in my view.
Right.
So I think, it's funny, Fonz, because I just love to show up to weddings to like judge, and for me, it's like a visual show. But you feel like that because you're an artist, but I think most people are like that in general about weddings. No, 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 because think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Especially us Latinos. How much drama goes into a fucking Mexican wedding?
Oh my God. I think, and that's another thing, and we'll talk about weighing like the weight of details on weddings
Mm,
after the break. But um, yeah. Oh my God. My mom used to do weddings for a while, and the weight of unrealistic or perfection, ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
What are you doing it for?
Yeah. Or
Right?
who are you doing it for?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
that's the thing. That's why every time we talk about weddings and like my unrealistic uh ideal of what I want my wedding to be, I'm doing it for myself and my partner.
Right.
Yeah. And the reason why I want to keep it under 50 people is because I want it to be very intimate. I want it to be very much the people I want at our special place when we get married, because I do not want to be overwhelmed with people I don't even know. Like I can't. I don't have the energy. I don't have the desire. Like I just
Exactly.
want my close friends and family to be there. Emphasis on close friends and family.
Yeah.
I don't want my extended family there. If I haven't talked to you in a year, like I don't care for you to be there.
No.
Um, and
No.
if I haven't been vulnerable with you, then I don't need you there either. Like
No.
yeah,
No. I think it also helps like having an intimate wedding also like absolutely safeguards you. Like everybody in that wedding is gonna know your level of Delulu. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure.
So no one's gonna be like, "Oh my God, do you see Fonz over there?" No, everyone's
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh my God, there he goes."
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And the fuck,
99% of
I'm
the
gonna serve the correct wine in the correct wine glass for all 20 people.
and everybody's gonna make fun of him. Everybody's
Correct.
gonna be like, "No one cares but him."
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that that's what's important
Delulu.
is
I love that.
yeah, no, everyone's yeah, like oh my God, you see the groom fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's crazy is like and we've talked about this a little bit in the on the pod before is that people try to be like, "Oh, it's my." This is where I start to get a little bit crazy, and I think
Yeah.
this is where I want to get like really into the meat and potatoes of the pod. Is the entitlement of it all for me? Is where it's my special day. It's very Veruca Salt from fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And
Okay.
it's very much so only and most exclusively the woman in the wedding that will always say it's my
It's
special day.
my special day. It's my special day.
Yeah, and I think with that, with especially that impression, we should take a little break.
Yeah, we'll
Mm.
take a little break and we'll
We'll
come
come back
back.
with the meat and bones, like you said.
Meat and potatoes of I want it my way, daddy. We'll be
Correct.
right back.
All right, so we're back.
We're back, guys.
And I need you to do that impression again because it was lovely.
I feel like now I can't do it.
I
You know what I
know because it's
mean?
like you're under pressure,
Because
but
it's like I'm under pressure, but it's like, yeah, it's in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when Veruca Salt is like, Daddy, I want one, but I want it. Very that.
yeah,
I feel
very.
like
I
that's
want that
Bride's
swirl to break my nuts. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, it's very that. But I want it, Daddy. And it's like, bitch, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
before we get into the nitty gritty, I
yeah.
want to say weddings are for two people. And unfortunately, your man will definitely not give two fucks. I mean, unless it's a gay couple, your man will probably not give two fucks as to like what flowers are around you guys, or like your dress, or catering, as long as there's food. I think men are pretty simple. And so this whole pressure of like it's my special day is kind of selfish, because it's two people getting married. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's interesting. So, like, I hate to be that bitch, but the feminist in me really rejects this idea of like, my wedding is like the most special day for me as a woman, you know? Like, there's a piece of me that like really rejects that as this kind of like song and dance, because we all know and understand that like marriage historically has mostly been a transactional interaction, right? And that women in most patriarchal societies across history have been used as like chess pieces, right? For like economic or societal advance, right? So sometimes I really balk at the view of like women like really playing up into this like, oh my God, my day and my fancy. But I get it. Listen, I'm a bitch that loves the fancy dress. I literally, in the first half of this episode, I was just fucking waxing poetic about the beautiful dress that Fawn's made for me, right? I get it. I understand. But there's that half of it. And then there's also the other half of it that every day is a very special fucking day, right? And that part of the reason why you're getting married is because you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, and you want to build a life with this person you're entering into this social contract with. So you can place a shit ton of weight on this one day, but do you guys agree on finances? Do you guys agree on a plan for your future? Do you guys agree on, I don't know, kids? Because I know a lot of people in my life that got married and were like, oh my God, he doesn't want kids. And I'm like, you didn't talk about this before you got married? I feel like in all those nights that you spent looking for wedding favors, maybe that
What
would have
a
been a
good topic.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So a
So
bunch of details, but yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I take issue with that. I do.
Yeah, me too. And you mentioned something, but okay, so another thing. How long were you guys dating before you got engaged and
2
married?
years.
2 years. Okay. So I have an issue with people that get married within the first year.
Okay, tell me why, Ben.
Because within the first year, that's your honeymoon phase. That's when you guys are getting to know each other. And obviously,
That part.
both of you guys will be playing a part. Both of you guys will be trying to impress each other. Yeah. And so
Yes.
if you
Yes.
say yes to someone within the first year, you don't know that person. I'm sorry to break it to you, honey, but you do not know that person. Especially if you guys don't live together, you do not know that person. So ladies and gents, don't propose to anyone within a year. Ladies, do not say yes until you live with the man, because you will be surprised.
Can I just say, as someone who lives with a heterosexual man, Fons knows this is true because I text him about this often. My husband will do some wild shit sometimes. The amount of times I have texted Fons the fact that I am tired of straight men is shocking. He's laughing because he knows it's true.
And that's the first sentence always.
That's it.
Like, I'm done with straight men.
Done. Done with them. Because you really don't know the depths of human depravity until you have to cohabitate with a straight male,
Yeah.
okay, over an extended period of time. And you know what it is? They think they're cute with the shit that they pull.
You know why? The more they spend time with like their bros in like locker rooms and shit like that, obviously the more obnoxious they are, the more praised they will be.
Yeah.
And when they get married, they expect the same praise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, no.
And your man wasn't
No.
even in like football.
No, but he was in a fraternity.
I was about to say,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah. So you're right. You're right about that honeymoon period, right? Like
Yeah.
it's important. You know, they say that it's important to know to make sure you see someone at peak anger, right? Like you
Yeah.
see actually someone really furious and see how they react. See someone in grief. See how they react
And
to
very
losing
depressed
someone.
too.
Very sad.
Yeah.
See how they react in stressful
Yep.
situations. In a year span, that's tight,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think fonts, that's a great point, babe. That is a honeymoon phase, right?
Yeah.
Because you are signing up, for a lifetime, right?
Yeah. Well, I
Now,
mean, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And so I think that that's important. You're right. And there's so many details that those details get lost in the wedding details,
Yeah.
right? In the flowers, like I said in the first half of the episode. The now spend as much time as you want on the food. Because if I'm being very honest, I do go to weddings to eat. I do. And that's because most of my exposure to weddings has been Mexican weddings. And oh my God, the food at Mexican weddings is always top notch.
Really?
Especially if you know, especially the weddings I'm used to going to, which are very traditionally Mexican, is that the day after, there's always pozole
Oh yeah.
or menudo, whichever kind.
Right.
Because you have your menudo families and you have your pozole families. Both
Right.
are valid. We don't discriminate here, General Query. And so, yeah, just like there's no
So
by erasure here.
so you talked about food
Yeah.
in Mexican weddings. I can't relate. Like I
No?
no. So I've obviously the majority of the weddings I've been to are Mexican weddings, but the day of the wedding, like I don't think I've ever had a memorable dinner. Yeah.
I'm,
But also, you know me and I'm kind of like
yeah.
picky.
You're a little bitchy. You are.
Yeah.
You
And
are.
so like I am not expecting barbacoa tacos from a wedding. I'm not expecting brisket at a wedding, you know?
What are you expecting?
Thoughtful dinners.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know, something sensible like a filet mignon. I'll settle at shrimp.
I'll see myself out. Everybody, he just say he expects filet mignon at a Mexican wedding. I'm just gonna. All right. Once. Are you kidding me? Absolutely
No,
not.
or even like a fucking like
What?
I don't know, like some meat shit, you know? Something that looks presentable.
My God. Oh my
You know what?
God.
I would die to go to a wedding
What?
and have those like warm tacos.
Okay.
What are they called?
Carne asada?
No, the warm.
Tacos de canasta?
No, not warm as in temperature, warm as in like the creature that crawls. Tacos de gusano.
Tacos de gusano. Why would you want warm?
I don't know because
Warm.
that's exotic.
I'm so sorry.
Here's the thing: a wedding is a once, or maybe if you're like Jennifer Lopez, like 10 times in a lifetime scenario.
Seven. It's seven. It's seven.
7, 10, potato. Who's counting?
Don't slander my girl.
I fucking hate her.
I hate her so much. I fucking
Okay, hate is a big word. I just highly dislike her as a person. Anyway, my point is a wedding is a celebration. A wedding is a big production, if you may. And so the dinner has to be a fucking big production, okay?
Which, by the way, that was the most bilingual problems moment of all time. I'm like, did you say warm? Like, temperature? And he was like, no, bitch. Like the animal. Worm. WORM. I can't.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind tacos. Like, I love tacos at a wedding. One of my cousins had a wedding and she did a taco.
No, tacos are great.
Kind of situation. They weren't traditional tacos, so that's what made it special.
No. So, really,
my point is just put some fucking effort into the dinner you're serving your guests.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So one of the things that I think is super important if you're going to serve something like tacos is your salsas need to be spectacular.
Oh my God, yes.
Because as Mexicans, we know our salsas, they're not just additions to the dish. They have to complement the dish.
Yes.
You don't just put any
They don't take away from the meat, but they don't overpower.
That's right. They add.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. We know you don't just put any salsa. Like the salsa that you put on tacos al pastor is not the same that you put on, I don't know, buche. You know?
Right.
It's not going to be the same salsa.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're white and you're listening to this, please go to a real Mexican restaurant. Any restaurant in Austin doesn't count. Any restaurant in Texas in general doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Go to the border somewhere.
Don't go to New Mexico either.
No, go to the border. If you can go to Mexico, go to the border. But yeah, no. So I don't know. I agree. Food is super important.
Very. And
those
drinks.
Details and drinks are important. Yeah. But I think that if you get mired in those details enough, that's like your only priority, then
you're already taking away from the experience. And that brings us to the next point is like the me brides, where it's like my special moment. Like, what the fuck? Like that one video you sent me about this bride who went mad shit crazy for the MUA. Like, what?
Okay, guys, we have to talk about this. So, TikTok, RIP. May she rest in peace, because TikTok was a she. She was a she, they, them, definitely. She was probably a non-binary queen. Anyway,
she was proud. Yeah,
she was. But anyway, so this TikTok from this fucking dumb bitch.
There's no other way to put it.
There's no way to put it. She's a dumb bitch. Yeah. Went viral because she posted a video of herself in a bathroom in her wedding venue, taking off her wedding makeup because she hated it. And she's taking it off.
What killed me was the fact that while she was doing it, she said, I can't wait to post this on TikTok. I was so disgusted by that comment.
Tell them that part. Let's start there. This culture, okay? This culture where we've gotten so far fucking gone in our heads that we have started equating our life moments with, I can't wait to post this. I can't wait for this to be a thing. And thank goodness for our semi-obscure, amazing YouTube creators that are still doing the Lord's work over there on the side, creating video essays. Because specifically, I found out about this through the amazing YouTube creator, Kiki Chanel. Everyone should go subscribe to her. She's a queen. always has an amazing beat on her face, by the way. So she's kind of an authority on talking about anything regarding to makeup. Fonts can attest. She looks great. Her makeup is amazing. But she did a video essay on this particular issue, and she breaks down.
May I
all of
add
this.
a
Yes.
54-minute video?
54-minute, I mean, video, like, detailed video essay is what this
she
was.
did
I mean,
her homework.
she did. She did.
I know I sounded kind of upset that it was 54 minutes because it was long as fuck. But she did her homework. Like, she went deep into this rabbit hole. Like, not only
she's
did
so
she
good.
go, she went into the TikTok, she went into the comments, she went into like replies, video replies,
And then she went
into the makeup artists.
Yes.
Instagram. So she did her homework.
She did her homework. She's amazing. We are so grateful for her. But basically what she did is she was like, this person did this 6 months after her wedding.
I found that to be very strange.
Bizarre.
Why?
Bizarre.
Like, bitch, do it on the day off or like, the next day.
Yeah, guys. Okay, so really quick. So this video, she's wiping off the makeup, and we'll link. First of all, we're gonna link Kiki Chanel's video to our socials because she did amazing. And we'll link all those stuff because it's kind of blowing up right now. But all of this is happening, and she is wiping off her makeup in this video. And she's like, I just hate it. I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. Ew, it's horrible. Look at this. And then she says, I can't wait to post this to TikTok. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then she redoes her makeup, looks nothing different at all.
Yeah.
At all.
It did look a little less polished,
Yeah.
but it was very much so the same vibe.
The same vibes.
Yeah.
And so then she goes and does this shit, and everybody is kind of reacting and saying, like, why didn't you tell your makeup artist at
like,
the
you're
time?
paying her. You can tell her.
You can absolutely tell her.
Yeah.
And I, really quickly, as a quick side caveat, I was a bridesmaid semi-recently, and Fons knows this. If Fons ever has a wedding, I have no interest in being anybody's bridesmaid. I will plan his wedding from top to bottom. I will call people. I will yell at people. I will do it all. I have no fucking interest in being anybody's. Do not make me be anybody's fucking bridesmaid. I fucking hate it. Okay?
I've actually thought about this. So, like, I
hate it.
Personally, do not want to have any bridesmaids.
Hate it.
I don't want to have a maid of honor. I don't want to have a court. I just want to have a very strict dress policy. And all my female attendees will be wearing my pieces, period.
Can't love that. Perfect.
Even if I'm making the last dress the night before, everyone will be wearing silos, period.
I can absolutely deal with that. Yeah. That's fine. In my experience as a bridesmaid, I got my makeup done by a makeup artist that the bride had hired. This makeup artist did the makeup for 8 girls. Okay? 8 women. Okay? I was the first because I'm like, let me fucking get this over with.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. I'm like, let me fucking.
You got the full energy of the makeup artist.
Yes, I did. Yes, I fucking did. And she was amazing. She was like, do you like this? She's like, do you do better with warm tones? And I was like, I don't know what that means. What do you think? And she was like, well, she's like, she's like, do you wear falsies? I was like, every day. And she's like, okay, perfect. Let me do this. When she brought the mirror to me afterwards, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I feel a little white right under here. She's like, oh, you know what? I see it. She's like, let me fix it. She like this immediately. And I was like, the only thing I'm worried about is like the flash. And she's like, oh, I get it. Immediately, she was lovely. She was amazing. She got it. It wasn't a thing. They know what they're doing. They're the professionals.
Absolutely.
So
And they know it's a service and they know they're getting paid for it. Than
absolutely.
for customer happiness or customer
Satisfaction.
satisfaction. There you go. That's what I was
Yes.
looking for is priority.
So if you ask them now, let's be very fucking clear. You don't say, this looks fucking horrendous.
Right.
Fix it. No, you say,
Just be a
hey,
fucking, reasonable human being.
be
That's
a
all.
reasonable human being, say please and thank you,
Yeah.
and they will happily fix
And
it for you.
address whatever is the issue.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
This person in this TikTok video did not do that.
Yeah.
And again, it was highlighted in this video that she was given a walkthrough of what her makeup was going to look like. Like,
Well, this is something I know because I have a couple of acquaintances that are makeup artists, and
yeah,
they'll definitely do like a trial version per se, pre-wedding or pre-photo
yeah,
shoot or pre-whatever,
yeah.
just so that you see the makeup and that green light. This is exactly how I want it. It's like this bitch must have had it before her wedding.
She did.
Yeah.
She absolutely did. And so the makeup artist did what she was instructed to do.
Yeah.
She didn't receive any negative feedback. She left. And another aspect of this that I want to talk about really quickly is friends. Friends are not people that agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay? Friends are people that love you. And friends are people that love you and are willing to tell you that you're full of shit. Okay? Now.
Or that you're Delulu as fuck.
Or that you're Delulu. Ask Fonz how many times I have told him, sweetie, that's a little much.
Even like the last episode where you're like, yeah, that was a minute and 10 seconds of him talking
Of
shit.
him just talking shit.
Yeah. No, but you're right. Like, surround your people with real friends. And that's why I don't want this whole ordeal with like 100 or even 300 people. No, too much.
No. Somebody, as she's wiping her fucking face, should have been like, hey, did you talk to the makeup artist?
Right.
Did you tell her you were unhappy?
Anyone with a minimum sort of knowledge as far as how makeup works should have stopped her and been like, bitch, just go back to the makeup artist, tell him what you want fixed.
And they will do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's where you rely on your friends. If you have a whatever, if you can't speak up for yourself,
Have
then
someone
lean
else
on your
do it.
friends.
Yeah.
By the way, fine. If you're a person that can't send food back,
Right.
I'm your bitch. Fine.
Right.
There's a way to do it so that it's not an issue, right?
Yeah.
But again,
don't fucking hold it back for 6 months.
And that's what kills me, Fonzie, about this whole entire sitch, because I think it's so indicative of this underlying kind of gross culture, is that we're holding on to these moments so that we then can use them for clout, right? So that we can use them to elevate the views, right? Because, again, amazing Kiki Chanel, she pointed out her channel stats on TikTok were okay, but then she posts this and they blew up, right?
So it was bait for sure.
It was absolutely bait.
Yeah.
Because she posted
her wedding didn't get her the likes reviews that she wanted, so then she decided
she posted that.
Correct.
And then her friend was like, oh, haters make me famous, adjacent type of content. And it's like, you guys are embarrassing. Like, you guys are not nice people. Not cool. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that when it comes to that sort of bride entitlement, I don't know why it is that it's so pervasive.
Once again, it's not about you. It's about you too. You're getting married to a person too.
Yes.
Like maybe think about him or them or her, you know?
Do you think this is a thing in gay circles, Fonzie?
Honestly, no.
Okay, but do you think we don't see it because it's not as advertised?
No, I think
No.
because gay people in general, so for example, in my relationship, like
Mm,
we've talked about it and he has agreed that every single detail of the wedding will probably be my choice because he doesn't give two shits about it, which is
yeah,
great because
right,
then I get to do whatever I want and I won't be a bridezilla because there is no such thing. Like I know what I want and I won't be bitchy about it. I'm not getting makeup done. If anything, my nails will be done, but I'll probably do them myself.
right, right.
And
Yeah,
as far as like every other detail, like that's why I want a very private, intimate kind of situation because it's not about them, it's about us. And I think that's happened a lot in like gay weddings where like I think we're very much in touch with the whole idea of like maybe it comes from like being neglected or like being bullied or whatever the case is, but like the wedding itself is about the two people getting married and that's what it feels like I don't think I've ever seen a video of a gay couple or a gay bridezilla, because it's very much so like a thing that happens between two people.
right.
Yeah, it's not about the one being a bitchy little brat. Just kidding.
No, no, no. And then that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, this is
So,
general
how do you feel about like designer wedding gowns?
designer wedding gowns.
Yeah.
I mean, um, I mean, you're not gonna twist my arm, you know? But that's the thing. I'm not a no, I am a snob. I am. But that's why we're best friends. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like I think we share love. We
For
share
art.
love for fashion. That
Yeah.
is we do.
Yeah.
But it's different. I'm an admirer. You are a contributor and a maker and an admirer, right? You're all of those things. I'm just an admirer of fashion and art. And so I like to be close to art. I am inspired by art. And so, for example, like the gays are gonna fucking crucify me for this, but hear me out. Um, Sex in the City, the movie, Carrie.
Uh-huh.
Carrie's a dumbass. We know this, but hear me out. Um, when she gets married and she's trying on all those wedding gowns, right?
Mhm.
And she lands on the Vivienne Westwood gown. And everyone's like, ugh. Online, it was like a very divided crowd about the gown that she chose, specifically because she chose this headpiece with like,
Right.
right? And I'm like, I would have done what she did. I would have. Because it's so dramatic and it's so geometric, the dress. Like it's all pieces that don't make sense, kind of, and it's all whatever. Because it was so emblematic of the time and place in her life. And that's fashion, and that's art, and that's what a piece of clothing can do for you in a space and time. It tells your story. And if you feel disjointed and put together in these weird angles, even if they're sharp, this dress makes you feel like a beautiful piece of art. And that's fashion. That's art. And so, of course, I want to put it on because I want to be it, because I want to wear it, because I want to give it life. And so, when it comes to like bridal couture, you're talking about an emblematic time in someone's life. And so, that's when I become just another girl.
Okay. I'm not
You
gonna
know?
lie. I was expecting your response to be different.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
but I'm glad we agree.
Yeah. No, I love it.
So for me, um, yeah, I mean, I know all the brides might not have a budget of, $1,500, $6,000,
I know.
$30,000, but I encourage every single bride to outsource. It's not about David's Bridal. It's not about going to that bridal shop in your town.
Yeah.
Get a custom piece. It's that I think going back, I know we talked shit about my me time, but the me part of the wedding should be what you're wearing. And I think if you're going to be particular about anything, it should be the wedding gown you're wearing, because that will not only say who you are, but it will also be the one piece that will be with you forever. And so, whether it be a local designer that you find through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, just go to that one designer and have that one custom piece made, because, yeah, it's your special day with your partner, and that one piece will be with you for the rest of your time. Do you want that piece to be something you bought off of David's Bridal, from one in over 300 locations that have the same fucking wedding gown? Like, you don't want that. So just go to a local designer. If you can't afford a custom Vera Wang, like, find someone that will make you a special piece. There's a lot of talent out there in small towns. I mean, in El Paso, I know a bunch of people. I can make you a wedding gown. Endless Cruises, I met amazing people. I met this one chick who made some wedding gowns. We worked together, and she made a wedding gown, and she was very proud of it. And, that's the thing about weddings. It's a one of a kind. It's a once or seven times in a lifetime.
If you're J-Lo.
Right. But you want that one night to be memorable. You want that
You
one night to
do.
be special.
You do.
And so make that special moment be your wedding gown.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And if you can't do the wedding gown, do the Carrie Bradshaw headpiece.
Oh, yeah.
Do something, because if there's something to be taken away from all this garbage out there of these brides that want to be cookie cutters of everything that they see on the algorithm, of these, it's like the beige moms. We need to have an episode about the beige moms, by the way.
What is that?
You've never heard about the beige moms?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, we need to talk about that. Um, but if you don't want to be a cookie cutter of the things that you see being fed to you by the algorithm, and you want to have this ridiculous headpiece, in your head on your wedding day, or your very unique wedding dress, or anything like that, please, please, please remember that the things that you are, the things that make you you, that's what makes your wedding beautiful. It's not about how much money you spent. It's not about any of that, guys. And it's about the actual covenant,
Yeah.
right?
It's the moment.
It's the moment. So
Before I forget,
that
for gay couples,
gay couples.
I know you guys don't wear wedding gowns, but if you can get a custom suit, because I know those are fucking expensive, sometimes they're
Yeah.
over $600.
Mhm.
Get them tailored. That's the minimum you can do. Just get them tailored.
Look up.
There's
Yeah.
nothing worse than an ill-fitting suit on a
Oh
man.
my God.
Yeah,
Just look at Billy Porter.
yeah,
He looks great
yeah.
in a suit. And I want to make a quick caveat really quickly into gay couples and gay marriage. We talked about sad news and just news in the beginning. Um, I want to talk about Idaho really quickly before
Ugh.
we end the episode. Idaho has asked the United States Supreme Court to reconsider marriage equality. If you're a longtime listener of General Queery, we told you this was on the table. We told you this was a concern. We've covered Pride 2 years now, right, Fonzie? Right.
Yes.
2 years. But we talk about politics pretty much every episode because we're those people and this is General Query. So Idaho has introduced a challenge to marriage equality. Now, if you are a queer person that is married or wants to be married by law, I just want to quickly remind you, it's not just about being married for love. It's about being equal in the eyes of the law, meaning equal in health insurance, equal in property rights with your partner, equal in child rights if you have children with your partner, all of those things. So, in the spirit of that, as we wrap up all this silliness when it comes to the banality that people get wrapped up in when it comes to getting married, right? Let's remember a bunch of sacrifices that have been made for our folks and the people in our community to be able to be married and have those benefits, right, Fonzie? To be able to be seen as equals in the eyes of the law. So let's keep an eye on what Idaho is doing. Let's keep an eye on what the Supreme Court is doing. And let's remember that the Supreme Court has a conservative majority. So,
And don't ever think that it's just Idaho. Because I'm sure as fuck Texas, Florida, and many others will follow.
that's right.
Yeah.
It only takes one state. And normally, what happens in cases like this, and I saw this in an article from the ACLU, and we'll link this. The ACLU, and that's the Americans for Civil Liberties Union. They said what normally happens in situations like this is, for example, Idaho sent this out, and they said, "Hey, we don't agree with this. Can you guys revise this?" So states like Texas or Florida are like, "Hey, we don't agree either.
Right.
So can you guys, yeah, we agree."
Yeah.
What that means from a legal point of view is that adds to the weight of the legal argument.
And it's the same thing with like the abortion,
That's right.
since we're in a caveat, it won't just be, you know, same shit will happen when we started legalizing, same-sex marriages. Well, where you'll have to travel to get married. Well, in your state, you will no longer have the same, you know, protections as straight couples will when it comes down to the law. Like, you know, anything from the house to if your partner passes, anything like that, like you will have zero says into it because under the law you won't be considered as their partner.
That's right. Under the law, you are not next of kin.
Yeah,
So if your partner is sick, you
you
will
have
not be
no
able to
say.
make decisions for them.
Yeah.
So let's keep our eyes out, y'all.
Yes.
We are a community.
And
And
we are under the fucking microscope. Like
we are.
they are watching us. They are trying to take our liberties away. They are trying to disappear us. Don't think for a minute that we're not, being attacked because we are.
Because we are.
Under this administration, we are.
We absolutely are.
Yeah.
We absolutely are. And you know what? But you know what? We're used to that, right?
Yep.
So as a community, we're fucking used to that. And what we're also used to is coming together.